Hello everyone, I'm Iriris. Today I'm going to talk about Detective Conan. I'll be discussing Detective Conan Manga Chapter 1101 today. In the first panel of the chapter, we see Kid fans cheering for Kid outside the building. Jirakichi and Nakamori are taken aback when they see the crown is disappeared and stare at the Kid. Conan tells them not to be fooled. Even if the crown is 1 millimeter away from the showcase, the alarm will sound. Since the alarm did not go off, the crown should be there. He adds that the Kid is simply hiding the crown. Kid shows that the crown is not present by placing his hand inside the showcase. Kid then disappears after dropping the smoke bomb. Nakamori says Kid might have shut off the showcase's electricity. Jirakichi's assistant Ando says that the power source for the showcase was possibly irresponsible, given that the only input and output is Fuji no Michi. Nakamori says that Fuji no Michi was unable to stop the Kid. Meanwhile, Ran, who is standing in front of Fuji no Michi's door, says that the wind never stops blowing. Sonoko joins Ran, who is standing next to her. Nakamori talks with the cops on the other side of Fuji no Michi. The cops said that the wind is still blowing and that no one is coming out. Jirakichi then tells Kaito Kid is still in the exhibition hall. Nakamori says that when they squeeze their faces, they will quickly learn who Kaito Kid is. They say they don't want it because Bunji just had a new nose surgery and Chujo is too elderly. Bunji claims that Kid can't possibly hide his clothing. Conan explains that the Kid's clothing is actually very easy to hide. Jirakichi's assistant Ando adds that it's possible that the Kid hid the crown on his leg. Nakamori then gives the order to search everyone. Men will search for men, while women search for women. But none of the men have a crown on them. Bunji claims that Ando is not the same as she was in the morning. Nakamori agrees, adding that her jacket is a lighter color in the morning. Ando, on the other hand, says that when she eats a sandwich with two experts, she tries to add some ketchup but it splashes all over the place. Even two experts and the person who delivered the food from the cafe got splashed. Ando is wearing her spare jacket as well. The food is delivered from the cafe by Azusa. Two experts say that he flushed the ketchup down the toilet. Chujo said that due of her poor vision, it took her some time to do this. Bunji stated that it takes time to dry. Conan quickly realizes how the Kid used a trick to get a splash of ketchup. Kid, who was disguised as a police officer, added sodium bicarbonate to the ketchup. Because of this, the ketchup that was splashed on Azusa's shoulder is a lighter shade. Over time, the color of ketchup has lightened as a result of the chemical reaction that occurred. We see the cafe on the other page. Azusa and Amuro are conversing here. Amuro tells her that Kid is one of the people who carry ketchup. Amuro also found how the Kid caused the ketchup to splash. Azusa tells Amuro that he should call the cops, and then she walks out of the cafe, saying, "I'm going to get the pots." Conan believes that the Kid is one of the three with ketchup. All three suspects approached the crown in some way. Ando claims that Chujo's beanie is a little different and that Bunji was a little taller when they first met. Bunji denies this, saying that he has always been thus tall. Chujo claims that to hide the ketchup stain, she turned his beanie upside down. On the last page, Conan seems to have figured out which is the Kid. This was the summary of the chapter. This chapter was more focused on the Kid. This chapter is good, in my opinion. What did you think of this chapter? On the last page of the chapter, Conan seems to have figured out who the Kid is. Who do you think Kid to be? Of the three suspects, Bunji is the only man. As you may know, when Kid disguises women, he does not remove their clothing. Instead, he chooses clothing that like theirs. He only stole Sarah's clothes so far because he mistakenly thought she was a man. Therefore, he can become Bunji more easily than women. However, the male cops searched for Bunji, so I think he would have been found if he had at least carried the crown with him. Chujo said she cleaned her clothing in the toilet. The kid replaced Kazuha in manga episode 1019 and forced her to sleep in the toilet. Although, as I just mentioned, I'm not sure how he found her clothes. But what she said about her beanie caught my attention. She claimed to have poor vision but was able to see even the smallest stain and try to wipe it. And why, in the first place, would Kid want to catch up on people? Perhaps he was able to find the same design as Ando's jacket but was unable to find the color, so he smeared ketchup over it. He would be able to tell that he was wearing the spare jacket in this manner. To be honest, I still don't understand how the kid got out of the showroom and disguised himself as Azusa. What are your thoughts on this issue? So, what did you think of the chapter? Please share your views with me in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching the video till the end.